Grand afternoon. Let's just say I wanted to tell you a story, right? And this story that I'm going to tell you, and it's not published, so we're not going to say it's actual, right? We're just going to say it's some downloads. And we're going to let this story spiral up to whatever thought pattern you need to use it for. But I'm going to put it together with understandings of my experiences, right? So, innately, there's always like this incomplete energy that exists when it comes to different levels of knowledge, how we handle people in some level of camaraderie, humanity. Like, it's always an incompletion on a lethargic type reasoning to subsequently balance one side to another, right? And whatever circumference that may be. Well, you got to understand there's not no circumstances that exist that are new. They're all old, and you have to understand the reason why some energies are fatally attracted or want to embody certain energies that they're not, right? It's not a such thing as racism, and I'm going to show you why. You just don't know who are what and what is how, right? So what if I told you a story that let's remove everything from everything, like whatever anybody know about past and definite. We're going to start with my understanding of the past and definite, right? So we're going to start with creations. First creations, right? So there's creations that are taking place. They're human beings in an aspect being created. And they're coming from a specific place. Within this specific place, these human beings that are being created are staying. You got to listen to what I'm saying while I bring you this knowledge. Every word is important. They are staying or being close to or remaining where they were created at. And from that, these stories of creation are taking place. Now, what I mean by creation, civilization, understanding, growth. These things are happening constantly. This is not just a one time on the one scale of the first creation. There are creations following behind this. Now we're talking millennia, millions, billions of years. We start getting down to where the cycle of this type of creation is going to stop or come to somewhat of an end in an aspect. So then the last creations come. So now, if I was like a little brother to something and I see everything that's going on, I ultimately want to just be a part, knowing that the energy it's almost like saying when you have a death energy on something, naturally the death is going to eat the body, right? So this is where maggots and shit come from, because it has an energy of decease after electricity gone. So it tells the flesh to be broken down or allowed to be broken down, you know what I'm saying, in a faster composition. Every process has an energy and remnants to that. So the last creation also had the last creation of remnant energy, saying, all right, you're that last set. But you got to stay here for a long time in order to be complete. And then they didn't want to, because they was the last ones and everybody was already doing their thing. They didn't want to. They didn't like any of that. They didn't like the fact of the process. It's like, wait, I'm the last one. Like, why I gotta, this is where And I'm pretty sure these levels of energies were existing within other cultures, but because it was experiencing existence for the first time within those, what you want to call, subsequent marks of the scale. If you know you're not the last, then you're looking to see what comes after you. So you're willing to stand in some form of right because you don't have nothing to look behind you towards to say, all right, let's see what comes after me. You see what I'm saying? So that right there in itself is a deep level of energy. It's a deep level of understanding that's implicable. It can get into your mind and start making you see things in a different aspect. Ultimately, when you are the last, you want to be the first. This is how terminologies of this camaraderie can actually come into fruition. If you know that you are the last, ultimately, you're going to want to be the first. You see what I'm saying? So then you're going to build everything around circumference of reality to particularly meet that agenda. So for the most part, if you're listening to me in the beginning, there's a want for most cultures to want to be like other situations, but have a default for them, have like a underlying misogynistic hate for them. You know what I'm saying? So this energy is not particularly a hate that you can really have. It's deep seated because the last one that came did not want to stay. It didn't want to stay so it can evolve in a sense, DNA wise, to where it would be at its full potential. So therefore, when it went into the world, it had full understanding. So now you got all these stories simultaneously wrote with a falsity, just to have a diagram to separate the value of one who did not stand for completion and ones who did. Ones, S, plural, who did complete. You don't see a need to complete when there's nothing behind you. You feel complete. You see what I'm saying? So it's more like a mental inhabitant that took place and it didn't subsequently give you a value or a ratio of a true standpoint. So you create your truth from that. That is not reality. That is disillusion. Because I'm last, I want to be first. What is first? And if you can see what's first from the last, and that's what you got to be, then your thought pattern is if I kill the first, then I can be first. You'll never be first. It took 1 billion years, millions and billions of years for the first to even get to that. And that's by staying by the womb. So it kind of tried to jump the whole process. And because it didn't want to wait, it had that impatient spirit. Because it was the last, it missed out on everything divine. Everything divine. And this is the energy that is reverberating through DNAs of this type of energy or that type of culture. They don't understand this is what you're dealing with. It has nothing to do with the semantics of the value. The reason why it's like that is because the forefather of that situation didn't sit his ass down and stay where he was supposed to. So it created everything under that aspect in a tree form. Everything under that became disrespect, disobedient. You can't listen. You can't follow. Everything became that. Every motion spawned off that. And it was already little teeny spots of it through the culture, but it would be overturned because that knew it wasn't the last. And it can look forward to being the first, knowing that the first was falling off, so eventually you would be there. So all you had to do is stay where you are. But when you were the last one, you see nothing but a whole bunch in front of you. You see nothing but a whole bunch in front of you, a whole bunch of creations in front of you. That means that's time indefinite you have to travel through. You ain't gonna never get there. So I understand why you got the hate. But do you know why you hate? Do you know what set this in motion for you? Do you even understand why you are the way you are? All these different acts turned something into evil energy. And it didn't have to go there. This is all by choice. And this choice subsequently became the value of the information in your DNA. It's reverberated over time. And a lot of it got wishy-washed and covered up. So nobody don't really know actually the truth. They don't want to look actually at the truth. So we're going to keep putting this on that and this on that and cover it up. We're going to make up some other stories and we're going to do this and da-da-da until eventually, we can say what we want to say to try to have a place in this world that's not last. Well, last would have gave you the opportunity to be treated like a baby. But I guess you didn't look at it like that. You already know the vibes. NAGA.